Welcome to Let Me Tell You a Story, The Jaws of Hell, Part 2. Let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, there was a most unhappy woman who marched into the village wise man's office seeking advice. "I live in a very small home, barely large enough for my husband and my 2 children," she explained. "Now, my husband's parents have no place to live, so he's letting them move in. It's only been 2 weeks, and I think we will all go crazy," she cried to the wise man. "What should I do?" The wise man stroked his beard, thought a bit, and he said, "Have you a cow?" "Well, yes, I do, but why do you ask?" "Take the cow, bring it into the house for 1 week. Come back and see me." Well, she left to take his advice, but thought, this makes no sense. Still, I guess he is the wisest man in the village. And she went home and brought the cow in. Things got so much worse. Every time the cow turned, all 6 had to change their seats. It was impossible for anybody to sleep. The woman returned after a week, and she said, "I'm in tears. I'm so miserable, more miserable than ever." Again, the wise man stroked his beard, thought a while, and asked, "Well, have you any chickens, dear lady?" "Yes, we have chickens, but why?" "Take the chickens into the house with the cow for 1 week. Then come back and see me." Reluctantly, she again took his advice. A week later, she returned, and she was hysterical. "You are insane. Your advice is the worst. My house is now impossible. The cows turn, the chickens fly, the in-laws cough, the children have feathers in their soup, and I fight with my husband all the time, and it's all your fault." The wise man considered what she said, stroked his beard, and said, "Dear lady, try one last thing when you go home. Take out the cow. Come back and see me in a week." A week later, she returned. "How do you feel, dear lady?" he asked. "Well, this is ridiculous, but I actually feel a little better." "One more thing then," he said, as he stroked his beard. "Take out the chickens." The lady went home, took out the chickens, and then lived happily ever after with her husband, her children, and her in-laws. You see, the wise man had taken her, slowly but surely, to the jaws of hell, showing her, right, how much worse everything could be. And by her going through that and experiencing that, her mind changed. She saw things with fresh eyes, and she then changed her conclusions about what was impossible and what was definitely livable. I've got 3 hints for you. We can discuss them further down the road as we talk about the tactics to manage expectations. But the first hint I have for you, the first tactic is this. You should always keep track of the significant bad. We're good at keeping track of the good, but do you measure the things that you saved someone? Do you measure the things that you did to keep them from doing something that would have harmed them, that would have cost them money, that would have cost them time, that would have cost them satisfaction? Do you keep track of those things too, so that when you have an assessment, when you're talking about what worth you bring, you can also talk about all the things that you did that made their life easier and that kept them from harm? Second of all, keep track of the things that people tell you. People are always telling you stories of things that they did that they wish they hadn't, situations that they were in that they wish they had avoided, outcomes that they had that were bad for them, and they're often very explicit. And then, of course, the third thing is to always find that outsider, maybe some sort of an idiot, some sort of a knucklehead who does something and all it did was make you think and make you laugh and make you say, well, that was the absolute wrong way to go. So three things that are tactics in managing people's expectations. First of all, keep track not only of the good, which is important, but keep track of the significant bad. Second of all, remember the kinds of things that they told you and lessons they've learned in the past so that when you want them to adjust their thinking, you can say, well, I see your point, but as you told me 3 months ago, remember that situation? And third, keep track of funny stories, interesting situations where some idiot got himself into a jam. You can share those, and it's then them being dropped to the jaws of hell by proxy. Well, that's it. Part 1 and 2, managing expectations, taking people to the jaws of hell.